After 60 days of being in lockdown and quarantine, Malaysia is partially opening up now, which means that I can leave my house. Some of us can start going to work, but there's no interstate travel. We are not allowed to leave the country. And the new normal is that when I go to any of the grocery stores to buy anything, I'm not allowed to go into the store. I will need to get my temperature scanned, and I need to have my hands sanitized, and I need to scan QR codes to indicate I've been there. And the reason I'm telling you this is, yes, I think we are finally beating COVID-19, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. So stay on there, we're gonna do fine. And to celebrate us leaving the house, the ability to leave the house, we're gonna do a YouTube tutorial on a shoot at a park near my house. And in most of the episodes, I tell you what to do. But in this special episode, we're gonna tell you what not to do from the perspective of your photo shoot subject and your clients.
Action!
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm a model and an actress. I hire photographers a lot for my personal shoots, and these are some of the biggest problems that I face. Wow, I love the trees and the flowery background. Can I take a photo here?
You want a photo here?
Yeah,
Okay.
like this.
Okay. What do you think?
Where is the background? Why is the background so blurred?
Background being too blurry. You have to remember that background tells the viewer where the location of the photo shoot took place. So when you blur the background too much, especially when the background is a beautiful location, it serves no purpose. So remember, don't blur the background too much, especially when the backgrounds are nice locations like this. Shooting your portraits like landscape and scenery shots where the backgrounds are just too loose. Your portraits being a bit too blurry at the background, but more frequently than not, your bigger problem is that your lenses. These are kit lens. These are lenses that you get bundled together with the purchase of your new camera body. They are all-rounder and pretty much good at nothing unless maybe landscape shots. And one of the reasons is because the f value cannot go lower than anything like f4. So two of the popular f values that you must use correctly when it comes to portrait would be f2 or f4. So if you are shooting at f5.6 or f8 or f11, you're gonna get shots looking like this, where there is no separation between the background and your subject, thus making Alicia looks like part of the background. Equally sharp background would not separate her. So the most common way is to use low f number and blur the background. That's separation type 1. And then you can use light to separate your subject from the background. Well, perhaps you should sign up to our premium courses. That way you can learn how to do all these separations effectively. Okay, this is nice. Your hand down a little bit. Right, that's good, that's good. Focus and boom. Oh, you're gonna like this.
What? Backlight.
But it's nice backlight. If your background is backlit like this, the only way that you can shoot without the background being overexposed is to fire a flash, a field flash. So here's what I do. I stick a flash to the top of my camera, a hot shoe flash. You can actually use a built-in pop-up flash as well. We're gonna learn how to do that later. So set the mode to TTL like so. But TTL on zero compensation is just gonna be a bit too harsh. Then you're gonna have highlight bouncing off your subject's face, making it look like they have sweaty forehead. So I always bring down the compensation to 1/3 or 2/3 down. So in this case, it's 2/3 down. Make sure that your exposure meter is on average metering like so. Choose a low f value. That's the trick here. f2, f2.8. So I've got this on f2.8 now. In fact, I'm gonna try 2.8 without going to f2. And when you meter, here's the trick. Make sure that the meter looks like this, just slightly below 0. Just slightly. 1/3 or 2/3 of a stop. In fact, I'm gonna try 1/3 of a stop. That's it. Focus and boom. No more backlit. Right? Now better?
Beautiful.
Let's try with a built-in flash. A lot of people swear that this built-in flash is just useless. Let's find out. So the same thing here, pop up your built-in flash. Go to your flash setting and ensure that you choose TTL. And the same thing as well, you can go in there and compensate this down a little bit. This is what I'm doing. I'm bringing it like 2/3 of a stop below 0. Here's part 1 of the trick. Part 2 of the trick, low f value. So this time I'm gonna do f2. Focus and recompose. Oh, look, my meter is just too overexposed. It's too stop overexposed. So, here's the problem. When you have your pop-up flash up, the highest shutter speed you can do with most camera is 250 or 1/320. So how do you solve this problem? You cannot use low f number like f2 anymore, and you cannot use high ISO like 400 or 200. So we're gonna bring the ISO down to the lowest possible, increase my camera to f4, and this way I am just right, zero chin down a little bit, boom. Sometimes when you take a look at your camera in an outdoor bright situation like this, you may look like your photo is underexposed. No, because when you go back to your computer in a normal lit room condition, they're gonna look fine. So always remember this trick. When you're outdoor, shoot a little bit under, and don't forget to check your histogram. The histogram says it's okay. It's a good peak that we have here, right smack in the center, a bell-shaped histogram. Okay. Perfect. 3 is growing out from your subject's head. Well, here's the reason. Number 1, your f value is too high. This was shot at 5.6, so you couldn't blur the background enough. And second thing, the biggest workflow problem that portrait photographers don't do, always select your background first. Find a good background where there are no things sticking out from your subject's head, and only then you introduce the subject into that scene. But I know some of you, despite the fact that you drop your f value to f2.8 or f2, you still see the 3 sticking out from your subject's head. Well, there are 2 ways to fix this. The first one is to move closer to your subject. When you do that, the background is gonna go blurrier even. And second thing, make sure that you use your subject to block the background that is intrusive. This is nice. See, it's important that your eyes are sharp, so I always zoom in to see whether the eyes are sharp. But why are you sweating like that?
Because I'm human.
But where's your napkin?
I thought you're supposed to prepare it for me.
I'm the photographer. 2 major problems why you get sweat. Number 1, you are taking too long to do your metering and to do your focus. Subjects are not interested in your workflow, which means one of the best habits that you can cultivate as a photographer is that if you know that you're going to a new location over there, you should study the brightness of that location and figure out that that is ISO 200 and what is the f value you're going to use there, and more or less bring your camera to that setting already, and by the time when you are there, you are ready to shoot. That way, you won't take too long and your subject won't be sweating too much. Alicia was totally right. Your duty as a photographer goes beyond just setting the camera up and posing her. It's hospitality, making sure that she looks good, feels good. So remember, you need to have things like napkins. Hang on, let's highlight on your right forehead. There's straight hair on your right hand side. Your collar is folded, just push it up a little bit. Don't smile. When I say 1, 2, 3, you smile. Alright, let's try that. Another mistake that photographers frequently make is depending on their exposure meter too much. I can promise you this much, no matter how good your camera is, your meter will fail you sometimes, especially when it comes to different outdoor, indoor extreme lighting conditions. And that is why you shouldn't always depend on your meter. So the best thing to do is quickly take a shot. Take a look at this shot. If you detect that it's underexposed, chances are that you're 2 stop underexposed. So if the shutter speed is 1/500, simple. Divide by 2, and that's 2 stop down. So the new number is supposed to be 1/125 on your shutter speed. That is more accurate using the true stops and not depending solely on the camera's exposure meter. Now take a look at this shot. If you see that it's overexposed, that means your brain and your eyes is telling you that it's 2 stop overexposed. So if the shutter speed is 1/125, all you need to do is raise the shutter speed to 1/500, or you can use your ISO. So it's always important that you learn how to use your true stops. And that's why I strongly recommend that if you're watching this episode, you should also head on and watch this episode here, where we talk about using the true stops. And remember, think about it this way. If photography is all about you adjusting your camera to get zero on the exposure meter, then everybody could be a photographer, even my mother-in-law. So go creative, use mathematics, and use true stops to get correct exposure faster. And don't forget, look at your histogram. And head on to this episode here where we teach you how to use histogram. Perhaps in the coming episode, I'm going to do natural lighting histogram evaluation method. It's going to be useful for you. Okay, this is beautiful. This is so symbolic. All right, and good. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to put a hand at a tree. Let's try that. Okay, this is beautiful. Right, this time I want you to have your fingers holding the flower. Oh, this is beautiful. Hang on. Check this out.
That's great, but when are you gonna shoot my portraits?
But what's wrong with these shots? I thought they looked nice and creative. You know what? Alicia is not wrong at all. These shots are called establishing shots. In fact, good portrait photographers do a lot of these kind of establishing shots to build the story for portrait shoot. In fact, if you look at my tutorial on this episode, I advise photographers to start with establishing shots. But you know what's good about this channel? Let me tell you this. I learned myself. In fact, you can start with establishing shots. Do a few to warm yourself up to get creative. But don't spend the first 1 hour to 2 hours doing shots like this. And apart from that, you can do a few shots and then move on to do the actual portrait shots so that your clients and your subject feel that you pay attention to them. And then somewhere in the middle or towards the end, you can pick up where you left off with the establishing shots. Good. Too many shots of your subject's shoulder facing the camera is gonna make your subject look pretty slim in the picture. Too slim, in fact. So instead of always having the shots with the shoulder facing the camera, one or two may be fine. The alternative is to have this shoulder go down a little bit. That's it. Too much, turn back. Right, that shoulder higher and then lean this side. Not so much. That's good. And there you go. You still get a side shot, but not so much of shoulder facing the camera. So play with both the shoulder height, and that will make a lot of changes in your poses.
Hope you loved this episode, and as always, remember to support our e-learning, click like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and as well hit the bell button so that when we have new video coming out, you will be notified. Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm a model. Hey, very difficult at the hand. Okay, one more time. Okay. Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm an actress. I hire photographers a lot for my personal use, for my personal shoots. Hi, one more time lah.
Especially when the subjects are interested to see that her brightness, her exposure, and the background looks... I don't know what I'm gonna say. Good portrait photographers like the wedding people do these kind of shots a lot. One more time. If you look at this tutorial here, I talked about doing your portrait. Sorry.
So what do we do now?
Nothing. Just wait.
Does it always rain when you do your YouTube shoot?
Yep.
Is it any other days where it doesn't rain?
Yep. When I'm not shooting YouTube.
Hey, why are you looking at girl's ass?
I don't know. She's just like
Show me.
posting her ass every day. Look at that. I'm not shitting you. This girl just go on Facebook every day and post ass pictures of her own ass. I'm not kidding you. Look at it.
I didn't know you have this hobby.
No, I don't have the hobby of posting my ass on Facebook. But if a girl that is so pretty posting her ass on Facebook, I mean, what do you want me to do?
I didn't.
You're not scrolling, I shit you not. She posts her ass. Look at that. On Facebook every day. It's just ass.
But
What do
I, but I didn't know that you have this hobby viewing, looking at other people's ass, especially the rounded one. Walao.
What am I saying? What do I do? Block her? What would you do if a guy posts this? Yeah, I'm not kidding you. It's just ass.
And you love every single post.
No, I didn't. Hey, how come you're checking out asses now?
I just wonder who is the photographer.
How come you have an account? Did you add her on Facebook?
It's your phone.
How come you're having my phone? Shit.
It's just so happened to be in my hand.
I didn't even know you have my phone.